Hello and welcome back to Road to Race of Champions. Following episode 1, we wanted to have a chat with Veloce Jaaames about his thoughts during the E-Race of Champions Invitational qualifying event. So we caught up with him at the Veloce Esports offices in between a sim session. So the reason, of course, you were invited to the ERoC Invitational event was because you were the champion of the Renault Esports series on Project Cars 2. Now, just talk us a little bit of how you managed to win that series to get towards this stage.
So yeah, I won the offline qualifier to get myself a place in the final, which was at the World Rallycross event at Silverstone. Faced some really fierce competition in the final, including Veloce Brembo, my teammate. And yeah, out of the 4 of us, I won. I won all 3 races on the day, secured myself the championship, and obviously it was on Project Cars 2, so a bit of a different game to what ERoC are using. But yeah, that's how I got earned my spot in the final tournament for ERoC. I knew obviously I won a championship this year, but you're right, I didn't expect to be within that elite group of drivers that got picked. I mean, you look at the names, and before the event there was a little bit of fear in my heart, you know, can I compete with such good drivers that are well known in all different platforms? I was happy to get picked. Obviously winning the Renault Esports series earlier this year got me to this point, so yeah, I had a lot of hope and potential going into the event, but yeah, what happened next I wasn't expecting that.
So from that day that you got picked to take part, what was the training leading up to the actual event, the invitational event?
So we got 5 days notice. So what happened was we found out the track and car. I familiarised myself with Assetto Corsa a few days before, just random cars and tracks, just to get used to the physics. And you know, the general gameplay and how things work. So yeah, when I got the car and track, just practiced on that mostly 4 or 5 hours a day. And then the day before the event and the day of the event, I took the day off work. So I'm sleeping well, eating the right things, concentrating purely on the racing. And I think that may have been the difference in my performance. So that's something I can carry forward for future competitions as well.
So here we are then, ERoC. Sitting in your sim rig, what was your sort of emotions going into the actual event? Like, how were you feeling going, like literally just before the event started?
My emotions were on a bit of a roller coaster the whole evening, to be honest, because it stretched from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. or 1 a.m., something like that. So it was an odd time to be racing, really. Obviously my parents were sleeping and my brother was trying to sleep, so I couldn't really be too noisy, but yeah, started off the evening fairly calm. I knew I had some good pace. I was practicing with Sally Saltonk. We both seemed pretty quick. And just waiting for the draw to come, the first driver, I was a bit, not scared, but fearful of who it might be. I don't want to get someone really good in the first round because it could end badly. So I got Nuno Pinto, and yeah, going into the first race, I had a lot of nerves, to be honest. Just didn't want to mess it up at the first hurdle. But once I won the first race out of 3, the second race, I knew I had the pace advantage, so I just took that into the next race, and yeah, ended quite well. So
then you got into the semi-final and you were up against Lage, and it was such a closely contested battle between the 2 of you. How did you feel after it? How did you feel while it was happening? Like, was there a lot of pressure? Did you know how close it was at the time?
Well, no, not really. I mean, that was probably my memory. If I look back at the event, that's my biggest memory from it, was race 1. It was close, but I beat him, but I didn't expect him to be that close. Obviously, he's a pad player by trade, so for him to be so quick on a wheel-orientated game surprised not only me, but a lot of people. And then the second race, he beat me by 31 thousandths. And then from the loading menu, from race 2 to race 3, I was in a bit of a sweat, I'm not going to lie. I was a bit worried. I weren't ready for it, but there was a nice long countdown for the 3rd race, and I composed myself. And yeah, set a really good time, the track record, and beat Lage. So it was a big moment in the tournament.
And then that took us, of course, into the final, up against Joni Tormela. And did you know from the first one that he had a full start? Did you know straight away? Were you taking it easy?
No, I knew straight away. I saw the smoke go up in my peripheral.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see there's a tracker where the other car is, and it weren't there. So after turn 1, I just confirmed it and then dawdled round to the finish.
Did that change anything going into the second round? Because
hugely.
The pressure should really be more on him, but of course if you let that slip then it's all even, it's all to play for.
Yeah, No, to be honest, watching the up and coming rounds to the final, I saw he didn't have the pace of me and Lage. So I thought if I'd done what I've been doing the whole tournament, should be fine. I forgot it was the final. If you start thinking like that, then you do end up making more mistakes. So
you came out of it on top. You are now going to the Race of Champions event to compete against another 3 drivers to get that chance to get the seat for the All-Star Sim Racing team. Did you expect that at all? Did you think that that was going to be the outcome? Where did you think that you were going to place in the actual invitational event?
To be honest, I had no real idea. A lot of, maybe it's just because it's me talking about me, but I didn't think a lot of drivers or people watching really knew who I was relative to the other big names. So I guess that put a little bit of doubt in my mind. But yeah, now I'm through it. I think the goal's got to be to win the whole ERoC championship, isn't it?
When you're in Mexico, you know, you've only got, you know, they're going to be 3 highly competitive guys, but
of course,
you know that there are only 3 of them.
Yeah,
there's only 3 people standing in your way,
and we've already beat 15. So
exactly,
yeah, the odds aren't in our favour, but in my head they are definitely.
Well, we look forward to seeing how you progress and how you do in the actual Race Champions ERoC event, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much.